tiny contingent of their soldiers has been captured here on Kilrathi.
This incursion was an act of desperation. The hairless apes now flail about knowing that they are beaten. They have failed their race utterly. There will be no interrogation.
Do what you will with them.
Disintegration. Silence. My brethren, they are not warriors, but maggots. Only one of them is worthy of being treated as a warrior. The one they call Angel. Still defiant, if we were to offer coexistence with your kind, would you not accept it?
The Kilrathi do not coexist.
No. And now that the tide has turned in this war, your defiance is a pathetic and useless gesture.
You bore me, monsieur. Disintegrate me so I might join my comrades.
Disintegration is not for you. Your fate will be different. The human cannot appreciate the honor that I am about to bestow her. She is not only a great warrior, but her lair mate is the heart of the tiger.
May they rest in peace.
Peace. Have we ever known anything like that, Paladin?
Not for a long time, laddie.
First the tiger's claw, now this.
Enough. You are not to blame for either.
Some would disagree. This is Colonel Christopher Blair. Report to Admiral Tallwin. The wreckage of the Concordia has been located on Vespus off the Mistral coast. Evaluation. Total loss.
You can't live your life for the approval of one man.
Any word from Angel?
None.
Is that the official line?
I know how much she means to you, laddie.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say the victory?
Is there something wrong with your hearing, Colonel?
No, sir. It's just that
The TCS Victory is a fine carrier with a long history of service to the Confederation.
Yes, sir. A very long history, sir.
Ship assignments aren't open to debate, Colonel. Of course, I realize that the accommodations may not be what you're quite used to.
Well, sir, I didn't mean to suggest that.
The Victory will benefit greatly from having a wing commander of your stature and experience.
Thank you, sir. But can't we at least discuss the
Now that we have the Kilrathi on the run in both the Gardell and Morpheus systems, I can afford to shift you to the victory in Orsini. What I am trying to tell you, Colonel, is that things are looking up. The Confederation has been making some very positive strides. Dismissed.
Sir, about my request.
Yes. But it came as a bit of a surprise to me. As you know, Colonel Devereaux's status is on a need-to-know basis. Your shuttle is waiting.
Yes, sir.
Despite recent losses in several densely populated sectors, Confederation spokespeople insist that humanity maintains the upper hand in its galactic struggle with the Kilrathi. However, our sources document a consistent underreporting of Kilrathi incursions, as well as civilian and industrial losses. There are even reports of Confed plans for a doomsday evacuation of Earth, replanting the seeds of humanity in a distant galaxy. The question is, who would go? Who would be left behind? And most importantly, who is making these decisions?
Welcome to the TCS Victory, Colonel.
Thank you, Captain.
Better known as Tin Can Sally.
It warms my heart to see you again, Colonel. But I must excuse myself now, as your duty here takes precedence over our catching up on old times.
Thank you, Hobbs. We'll talk later.
Yes, I know what you're thinking. She's no Concordia.
Well, neither's a Concordia anymore.
Yeah, terrible loss. My sympathies. However, you're in my home now, and I'll expect you to wipe your feet every time you come in. I've been with the Victory most of my career. I was communications officer during a maiden voyage.
Well, sir, I'll admit I wasn't looking forward to the assignment, but now that I see you have a pilot as fine as Ralganar Hollis on your crew...
Hobbs? Yes, he's my second in command.
He's not flying?
At his request. I know all about his exploits with you, Colonel, but here no one will fly with a Kilrathi on his wing.
What about his exemplary record? That must stand for something.
It was his request.
Captain Eisen, I'm not going to tell you how to run your ship, but I am going to insist that Hobbs is reinstated to the flight roster immediately.
Well, that's admirable, Colonel, but who...
I will, sir. I'll fly with him. He's the best wingman I've ever had.
Hello and welcome to Wing Commander 3 and its extremely long intro. Anyway, yes, this is the third game in the Wing Commander series, if you don't count the ones we don't talk about. Armada! And one of the only 3 games, all of them in the Wing Commander series, that were actually good FMV. I think we've waited enough. Let's move along. Eventually. Yeah, you're gonna see that pretty frequently. I'll be cutting them out with the escape key after you've seen them at least once. And man, the Kilrathi puppets did not age well.
Welcome aboard, old friend. You're looking fine and fit. Does this war agree with you?
Yeah, like a pair of busted wing flaps. But it's great to see you, buddy.
And how is the fine pilot and Comrade Angel?
I don't have a clue. I haven't heard from her in a while. She's on some damn covert op for Tolwyn. But hey, I got good news for you. I put you back on the fly roster.
But I requested...
Never mind that. I want you with me on my first mission.
Well, there are many brave and noble pilots here.
Yeah. But when my life's on the line, I want a wingman I can trust.
I shall try not to disappoint you, old friend.
As you heard previously, that was Ralgan Arhalis, aka Hobbs. Don't ask why he's called Hobbs. I think you can probably figure it out. Look at those boots. Those are both hilarious and adorable on this giant warrior space tiger. And yeah, that is Mark Hamill, as you saw from the opening credits. This was his second major space role after the obvious one of Luke Skywalker. Which one is better is up to you to decide. Let's go see if there's anybody else to talk to before we move on to the main event. These episodes are probably going to be a bit longer than usual. Oh lordy. Because I'm going to be doing one mission per episode. Some of them will be very short, some of them will be quite long.
Lieutenant Rollins, comm exec, welcome aboard. You get the pep talk from the captain yet?
Something like that.
Well, the good news is it won't take too long to shower off the bullshit around here.
Captain Eisen seems to believe in his ship and his crew. And that kind of attitude's good for morale.
Yeah, well, you haven't been monitoring transmissions like I have. If you did, you'd jump sector in a nano.
Play along with him.
This is one of the two new entries to the series. There's actually branching dialogue. Some of it is very important. I'm told that this affects crew morale, which does something, question mark? I have no idea. We'll get to the other big thing later. Personally, I don't like Rollins, so I'm gonna tell him to fuck off.
This guy's alone. It must be a lot of work carrying all that paranoia around. I suggest you stow it.
Oh, you'll be asking for another dose of paranoia from Radio Rollins real soon. You want the straight dope around here? You come to me. I'd even save your life.
Yeah, Rollins has not begun to be annoying. So, let's move on and never talk to him again. We'll be talking to him quite a few more times. Ow, my soul! Now we get to meet most of the rest of the crew. And the nameless bartender who will never say anything ever.
Hey, Hobbs. How about going around with me? Bet you a week's pay on one hand.
Thank you. No.
I'm sure you're thinking, how would he play cards? He'd shred them. Believe it or not, in the very first scene Hobbs was ever in Wing Commander 2, he was mentioned in a Wing Commander 1 expansion, but he actually made his first appearance in Wing Commander 2. It's at a poker game, like Star Trek The Next Generation. I'm not even kidding. The one that we saw walk off because she's super racist against space cats was Cobra. We'll talk to her later, unfortunately. For now, though, here's here's Vagabond. He's actually pretty awesome.
Welcome aboard, sir. You want to play a hand? Since you're the rookie on this boat, I'll let you call the game.
Not much for protocol, are you?
No, formalities tend to be forgotten when you spend most of your time just trying to survive. What little spare time we do have, we fill up with other things besides practicing our salutes.
Well, I guess you have to adapt to your surroundings.
Don't I know that? It's an art, really.
No wonder they call you Vagabond.
Been doing your homework, I see. Yeah, I've knocked around some.
And yet your combat file is surprisingly brief. What's with the big gaps in your bio?
Can I help it if Confed decides to blank my data?
He's got a point. Huh. Sometimes HQ is as big a mystery to me as the enemy.
We got a lot of good people here, Colonel. Even those of us with incomplete bios. Just give us a chance.
Those are some weird-looking chairs. And as you can see, I could talk to him again. It'll just play the exact same scene. I think what determines like the branching paths thing is which one you pick last. I'm not gonna go through every single line of dialogue though, because then this LP would take like years. Okay, not that long, but it would take a long time. We'll look at the kill board a little later, because right now we don't have any. And this is the it's called the berths. I don't know if that's an actual military thing. It's the bunks. This is where people sleep. And apparently the crew consists of exactly 6 people. Awesome. We can look at the main terminal for like saving and options. We don't need to do that. What we do need to do, one time, even though it's going to be here for most of the game, is look in our locker.
Hello, mon ami. I hope the fight goes well for you and all the others on the Concordia. I'm about to set up for a covert operation with Admiral Tolwyn, so I'm afraid we might be apart a little longer. But always remember, je t'aime. I love you.
Despite the accent and French speaking, I'm pretty sure that Devereaux is supposed to be Belgian. Nobody else to talk to in here, and I'm so disappointed you can't talk to the bartender, because that was actually a kind of a major thing in Wing Commander 1. You would talk to the bartender and get tips. And no, I have no plans to play Wing Commanders 1 and 2, because one is those games are really, really hard, but the main one is that they run like ass. Like, we're talking like 16 frames per second. I wish I could get them running better, because those games are awesome, but I don't know how. It's something to do with like the DOSBox cycles, but I don't even know what that means, so yeah. And now, we meet my favorite character in the entire series.
No, I don't have anything better to do, okay? So, I pulled into a tight loop, locked onto that cat's tail, fired off a heat seeker, boom! Turned him into kitty litter. It was a... All right. Well, well. If it isn't the Colonel. I'm sorry. I couldn't make your welcoming party.
Well, I guess you had more pressing maneuvers to undertake, Maniac.
When duty calls, I'm there. Women like the smell of success.
Uh-huh. You know, I'm surprised you haven't been blown out of the sky by now, Maniac. By friendly fire.
Some people appreciate my flying style. I do what's necessary to win, okay? Suppose you're still flying with one eye on the regs manual?
I don't take stupid risks.
Yeah, speaking of stupid, I also heard you put Hobbs back on the flight roster.
My. Word travels fast on this tub.
Never understood what you saw in that cat. Simple.
I need a wingman I can count on.
You can't trust someone who will kill their own kind.
Who I choose as my wingman is my prerogative. It's a privilege of rank.
I'll bet you stay up late nights just polishing it, huh?
No, as a matter of fact, I have majors who do that for me.
The difference in our rank is a formality. We both know who's better in the cockpit.
Yeah, we do.
Let me tell you that story again. So.
Sorry for the cut there. I couldn't remember if I'd muted myself. It turns out I hadn't, and it's a good thing I checked because I hit the key right before I paused just to make sure. That was close. Anyway, that was Todd Maniac Marshall. He's one of the wingmen that you can have in this game. If he looks familiar, he should. He's played by Tom Wilson, aka Biff from Back to the Future. He primarily serves the role of comic relief. And we have one last person to not talk to.
Colonel Blair, report to the briefing room immediately. Colonel Blair, report to the briefing room immediately.
You thought I was kidding, didn't you? Now we take the trip back down. Luckily, I can skip these now, because you've seen them.
Ah, come in, Colonel. Time to put that reputation of yours to the test. Confed intelligence tells us that the Kilrathi presence is growing here in the Orsini system. You and your wingman are to fly routine patrol of these 3 zones, sweep the area of any hostiles you may encounter. Understood?
Completely. So, these are the mission objectives. Oh, and one last thing.
Here is the other big system for this game that was, new to the franchise. I mentioned earlier about Maniac being one of your possible wingmen, and that is true. You actually get to pick in this game. For the first mission, you have to take Hobbs, though.
Hobbs, you're on my wing for this one. Dismissed, and good luck.
And here we have, believe it or not, the single most decorated actor in this entire game. Entire series, actually. And remember, we're including the names, we're including the likes of Tom Wilson, Mark Hamill, Malcolm McDowell, and John Rhys-Davies. And of course, you saw the late, great Jason Bernard in the briefing. I can't remember this woman's name.
Chief Tech Rachel Coriolis, welcome to the victory, Colonel. Heard you're flying with Hobbs on this one.
You got a problem with that, Chief?
No, sir, not at all. I think it's about time. That cat's one hell of a pilot. Here she is, one Hellcat 5. She's prepped, primed, loaded, locked, and ready to kick some ass.
Thanks. What about ordnance?
It's all taken care of. The captain downloads mission specs to me. I dope out the weapons requirements, so you're set to go.
Oh yeah?
In the future, Colonel, you have the option of choosing your own weapons. Or you can trust my judgment and fly with my default loadout. I promise, Colonel, never to disappoint.
But, yeah, I can't remember the actress's name, not the character's. When I say that she is the most decorated, I mean it. Something like over 125 awards for her work in porn. Sorry about that, I got called away. Anyway, yeah, she's got like an insane number of awards for her work as a porn star. To the point, I believe she actually has more than the entirety of the rest of the cast put together. Hey, I'm not gonna judge. Now, we can't alter our loadout for this mission. We have to take the Hellcat, which sucks because the Hellcat is the worst ship in the game, but this one's easy, so it's not that big of a deal. It at least looks pretty cool. I'm going to be showing off each of the ship getting in and out things, and then I'm going to be skipping them from then on. So, they're kind of lengthy, and they're the same every single time. Now we get to the meat. But prior to that, I actually have to use the keyboard for part of the game. I need it for, let's see. One sec. Just gotta take care of that. There we go. I need the keyboard to use my afterburners, use my communications, and here's one of the reasons I hate Rollins.
What's your status?
We're sitting pretty, sir.
He's even more annoying in the comms. Afterburners, power settings, as you saw earlier, very important. Don't leave the damage on until you get damaged. You want shields and weapons. Now, let's see. I have to use that for autopilot, too.
Sighted enemy craft, Colonel.
There we go. No, that's not it. Sorry, it's been a while, so I'm trying to remember how to, how do I swap my weapons? I should have looked at that when I was checking the, controls. I'm stuttering so much, I actually do have to concentrate a bit on this. Like I said, this mission isn't hard, but it is something that, it is something that you can't exactly, like, just zone out on. You only get that green thing that tells you where to shoot if you lock on. You don't lock on automatically, and as you saw, there wasn't any tutorial. You really were expected to read the instructions. In fact, you wouldn't even know how to get into the options menu if you didn't. It's Alt-O. Because why not? I'm actually going to turn the difficulty down to veteran. In fact, it should have been on veteran, that's what I keep it set to. Because Ace is a little too hard for me, for like the purposes of LPing. Veteran is actually still fairly difficult. Rookie isn't... Your first time through Rookie isn't easy, but after you actually know how to play the game, which I clearly do with my not remembering how to swap my weapons, it's... Rookie you kind of can zone out too. Yeah. Set that. Also, yeah, there's straight up cheats here in the options. In case you wanted to just completely trash everything and just kill everything by running into it. You can do that if you want, I guess. I'm not going to. Even I have some dignity. Now I'm going to pause this for a second while I figure out how to alter my weapons. Well, I don't know how I did it, but I set myself to full guns, which is what I wanted. Also, told a lie a little earlier. I actually can alter my throttle. I'm using a flight stick for this. I don't know how I forgot to mention that. This is the only game, the only series that I actually got this for. It has like, it has a thing that you can flip back and forth to adjust your throttle. It doesn't work for this game. I don't know why. I have to hold this button on the side, which is usually what I have to hold to fire a missile or rotate, and pull it back to reduce throttle and push it forward to increase it. I don't know why. Anyway, moving on.
Sighted enemy craft, Colonel.
Now,
break and attack.
Engage an enemy
here's the main reason that you want to remember that you have a wingman, which I completely forgot about, is that until you actually directly tell them to attack, they won't. It'll just sit there following you, getting shot, until you either tell him to attack, or he dies. But once you actually tell your wingman to, man their wing, they will just butcher through enemies.
Mission objectives accomplished.
Usually. Sadly, all the wingmen function exactly the same, except for Maniac. I think Maniac might be slightly better in terms of his piloting skill, but the trade-off is he will never take any of your orders. As you can see, Hobbs has a number of orders here. I can ask him his status, tell him to break an attack, tell him to shut the fuck up, call for help if I'm in trouble, or send him back to base if he's about to get shot down. Maniac will only accept break and attack, at which point he will break and attack everything. It doesn't matter what you say, he will ignore you. Actually, worse, he won't ignore you, he'll make fun of you. The only thing he will answer is what's your status, and I think he only responds for full health and about to die. He will not return to base under any circumstances. He won't get off the radio, ever. I think if you tell him to break an attack again, he'll make fun of you for it. And if you tell him, help me out here, he'll just go, not possible, Ace. Which is that's his default no. Other than that, Maniac's pretty good. With his, constant insubordination.
Need clearance, TCS victory.
Excellent work, Colonel. I can see now that your reputation is well deserved.
You cleared for landing, Colonel.
Here's the thing about landing. It's another thing that I don't explain to you. You can, after you've asked for clearance, just hit the autopilot button and you'll land automatically. What you're supposed to do is get to about the middle point and then throttle down. You have to throttle down low enough. Do not attempt to physically land, like wheels to the ground. You will crash and die. And yes, I do know that from personal experience.
Pretty slick flying, sir.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, the mechanic will give you a little appraisal at the end of every mission, depending on how much damage you took. Towards the end of the game, you're not going to be hearing pretty slick flying, sir, very often. Anyway, this video's gone on a long time now, so I'm going to cut it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, blah 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 blah. You know the drill. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.